I think what we are currently seeing is a fundamental shift away from targeting for marketing based purely looking at behaviours to looking at psychological attributes which shape buyer behaviour. And the reason for us being able to do that now is because the relationships between brands and consumers are fundamentally being reshaped by technology. So we're able to identify much more about consumers from that data. We're able to deliver personalised marketing to those consumers. But the important point is that we're able to derive from that data psychological attributes, and it's understanding the nature of those psychological attributes and their relationship to consumer behaviour which is absolutely key. And that's where fundamentally we're seeing this shift from the old style behavioural targeting and behavioural marketing to psychological marketing. And as I say, I'm coining the term the mind economy as a way of just describing that broad shift that we're seeing. I think it's relatively new. I think there are some relatively high-profile cases. I think we're starting to understand this. I've been to as with much of this area, the literature has been and the research has been there for a long time. I think what we're seeing now is that we're starting to move from actually looking at it and thinking, isn't that interesting, to brands starting to explore and understand what we can do with this. Obviously, the way in which the organisations and categories and the industries are structured, it takes time for change to happen. But I think people are starting to recognise the value and importance of this. I think there's a broader issue as well, just by way of increasing complexity of consumers' lives. Meaning that actually with disruptive change, with increasing desire for personalised services, with increasing liquid sort of mindsets driven by technology, we are less likely to know what we want in a sense, and so we fall back on some of these kind of psychological attributes to help us navigate through the world and through our consumer lives. So in a sense as well, that is why I think the term the mind economy is helpful in this context. I think what brands can do is to understand A, what kind of data they have available, B, what kind of psychology, what's the psychology that is driving, shaping consumer behaviour in their category, and work out how to integrate those two things. Because you know what the literature is telling us is that you can derive a lot of insight, a lot of information from very thin behavioural data. We're leaving an awful lot of information about our inner lives available for many people to look at and start to leverage that sort of insight. So brands can now start using that information to good effect.